think that I have a few things that I'd recommend to you. The first is massive action. To be abundantly clear, I was going door to door for a little over a year, maybe like I think it might have been like a year, 15 months or something like that. And I was talking to about 50 to 80 businesses a day for that time period. And so I want you to think of the sheer amount of time that I spent just articulating needs and then my ability to solve them, and how the entire point of it was the perception of a ton of value. Now, back then, I could only provide the perception of value. Now I'm capable of providing actual value. Thank God for that. But that bore in me a nugget that I think I've been able to use over and over and over again for a bunch of different applications, whether it's door to door, whether it's sales calls, whether it's Loom videos, whether it's even email copywriting and stuff like that. So sheer volume is really big, right? You can do the math. 50 businesses times maybe 400 days, that's 20,000. In addition to the 20,000 conversations that I had with business owners over that condensed year and a bit period of my life. Before that, I worked a role where I was basically standing on a street corner with a little binder, and I was trying to raise money for starving children. And it was basically the whole child sponsorship thing, if you're familiar with that, in the arms of an angel and so on and so forth. So that naturally forces you to get pretty articulate as well, considering that you are talking to either cracked out, pretty crazy people, or, business owners that are going from point A to point B, or finance people in suits and ties that don't really have time for any bullshit. So all this really helped. And then when I transitioned to going on camera, yeah, there was definitely a big period of what the hell is going on? I mean, like, there's no human being in the room with me anymore. I'm not talking to a person. I'm just like talking out loud. But I've come to realize that a lot of people, you ever see or hear somebody that doesn't know that you're around, like, talk to themselves? Maybe you haven't, but I've used to be with a roommate. Sometimes my roommate would talk to himself out loud. I've lived in situations communally with a few other people, and sometimes people talk to themselves out loud. So I think of it just like that. When you talk to yourself out loud, it's almost just a tool that clarifies your thinking a little bit. And it's the same thing that I'm doing now, just at large. And because of content and leverage, it's being seen by tens of thousands of people a day. So I'm basically just thinking out loud constantly, and then I'm just like talking to myself. So if you think about it that way, when you talk to yourself, it's not like you're unnatural, right? You just don't even really think that the camera's there. You just don't really think that anybody's there. You're just talking to yourself, totally unburdened by any of that stuff. And I think after you do enough reps, it's just how it is. So yeah, I don't really have anything in the way of specific advice aside from just crazy reps. The books I read didn't necessarily help me become more articulate or whatever.